Don Quixote of the Mancha, by Miguel de Cervantes, Chapter 1. An introduction to that famous gentleman, Don Quixote of the Mancha. This is the story that Miguel de Cervantes, a man from Spain, wrote in 1605, and which the world has been reading ever since. Once upon a time, there was a man who lived in a village in Spain, called the Mancha. His house was full of old weapons and armor. He had an old horse and a fast dog. He ate common meats and lentils. On Sundays he sometimes ate a bird. He wore black clothes with special trousers and shoes of the same color for holidays. On weekdays he wore a simple suit. He spent his little money every year on a few things. In his house lived a woman of about 40 years old, who worked for him, a young woman of about 20, who was his niece, and a young man who helped him at home and in the fields. The young man prepared his horse and helped with the garden. The man was about 50 years old. He was strong, but his face looked old and tired. He woke up early every morning, and he used to hunt animals. But now, he spent most of the year reading old books about knights. He loved these books so much that he forgot about hunting and forgot to take care of his house. His love for these books grew so much that he sold some of his land to buy more books about knights and their adventures. He believed these stories were true and real. When his friends came to visit him, he would argue with them about which knight from the books did the greatest things. He loved these books so much that he spent whole days and nights reading them. In the end, because he slept so little and read so much, his brain became tired and he lost his mind. His head was full of the things he read about: magic, fights, battles, love, storms, and other impossible things. These romantic stories took control of him, and he believed they were completely true. Finally, when he couldn't think clearly anymore, he had one of the strangest ideas that any person ever had in this world. He thought it was right and necessary that he should become a knight and travel around the world looking for adventures. He wanted to do in real life all the things he had read about the old knights. So, he decided he would make a name for himself by helping other people and facing all kinds of dangers and difficulties. In the end, he hoped to be rewarded for his brave acts with the crown of some great country. First, he took some old rusty armor that belonged to his great-grandfather. These old weapons had been forgotten in a corner of his house for many years. He cleaned them and fixed them as well as he could. Then he saw that something was missing. Instead of a proper helmet, there was only a simple headpiece like a steel hat without a front part. So he made a front part for his helmet by putting pieces of paper together. This paper fitted to the helmet and made it look like a real helmet. Then, to make sure it was strong enough, he took out his sword and hit it once or twice. With the very first hit, he completely destroyed what had taken him a week to make. He did not like how easily it broke, so to make it better, he put some iron bars inside it. This made him feel sure it was now sound and strong, and he did not test it again. Next he visited his horse. Though his horse was very thin and had nothing on him but skin and bone, the horse seemed to him better than Bucephalus, the famous horse that carried Alexander the Great into battle. He spent 4 days thinking of a name for his horse. He said to himself that it was not right that such a famous knight's horse should not have a known name. So he tried to find a name that would tell people what the horse had been before he was a knight's horse, and also what he now was. Since his master was going to change his job, it was only right that his horse should have a new name, famous and important, and right for his new position in life. After choosing, making up, and throwing away many names that did not seem right to him, he finally decided on Rocinante. In his opinion, this was a great and beautiful name that expressed what he had been when he was a simple workhorse, and what was expected of him now. After giving his horse a name, he decided to give himself a name too, and he worked on that idea for another 8 days. Finally, he decided to call himself Don Quixote. And remembering that the great knights of old times were not happy with just a simple name, but added to it the name of their kingdom or country, he, like a good knight, added to his own name that of his area too, and called himself Don Quixote of the Mancha. By this he showed his birthplace and did honor to his country by taking it for his family name. his armor being cleaned, his simple hat changed into a helmet, his horse named, and himself given a new name. He thought that now he needed nothing but a lady, on whom he could give his service and love. For, he said to himself, remembering what he had read in the books of knightly adventures, if I should by good luck meet with some giant, as knights usually do, and if I should beat him with one hit to the ground, or cut him in 2 parts, or finally win and make him give up to me, it would be only right and proper that I should have some lady to whom I might present him. Then he would come to my sweet lady, and say to her with a quiet and respectful voice, Madam, I am the giant Caraculiambro, lord of the island called Malindrania, whom the never too much praised knight and Don Quixote of the Mancha has beaten in single fight. He has told me to present myself to your greatness, that it may please your highness to do with me what you want. This lady of his dreams lived in the next village to his own, though she had never taken any notice of him at all. She was called Aldonca Lorenzo, and he thought she was the best to honor as the lady of his dreams. Then he began to search in his mind for a name that should not change too much from her own, but should at the same time show people that she was a princess or a lady. So he called her Dulcinea of Toboso, a name sufficiently strange, romantic, and musical for the lady of so brave a knight. And now that he had his armor, a horse, and a lady, he was ready to go out and look for adventures.